All right, we continue to follow that breaking news overnight.
News 13's Victoria Dunkel is live at the fire that's still burning at an abandoned plant in Asheville. Vic, this fire started around 12:30 this morning.
Yeah, we're coming up on about 5 hours of it burning and 5 hours of the crews being out here in this extremely cold situation. I'm talking to Battalion Chief Carlo Marzelli. You have been out here the whole time. This has been a challenging fire on a couple different levels, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. The bitter cold has been the main problem. Our guys are freezing. We've had a rehab bus here that we could rotate them through every 15 minutes just to stay warm.
Well, you've had the water coming off the fire, and that's freezing instantly on the roads too, right?
It's been doing that all night. We've had a sheet of ice on Leicester Highway all night.
What is the challenge of actually fighting this fire? This was an old, abandoned, boarded up plant, right?
Correct. I believe it was a meat packing plant at one time, and the hard part was getting through. Since we couldn't go in, the walls were about to collapse, we had to fight fire through the roof.
Is the fire out at this point?
No, there's still some small smoldering spots we still have to hit.
All right, well, I'm going to let you get back to taking care of this for us. Thank you for the update. Okay. And as you just heard, they're going to be here for a while longer. The recommendation, because of the situation with the traffic here, they're telling us we're going to be down to just a couple of lanes of traffic. They're letting them go through. They're cycling through here with the Asheville Police directing traffic. If you don't have to come this way, avoid it today because it is a sheet of ice. Very dangerous condition. We're out here live all morning long while we cover this breaking news for you in Asheville. Victoria Dunkel, News 13.
An abandoned building went up in flames just after midnight on Leicester Highway.
News 13's Victoria Dunkel joins us live this morning. And Vic, fighting the fire is actually causing some other challenges.
That's exactly it, because of the conditions that we're dealing with here. As you mentioned, this is an abandoned plant. They said that they believe it was an old meat packing plant here on New Leicester Highway. And as we take a look at some of the video from the fire and what the crews kind of rolled up on and saw earlier this morning, it was full of flames when they got here. And so they were trying to assess the situation, but the building itself became a challenge. But not only that, the big problem here is the fact that it has been pretty much below freezing the entire time this building has been burning.
The bitter cold was the main problem. We could only work for a short period of time before we had to go into a rehab bus to get warmed up again.
And as we come back out here live, you can see the building there. They've actually been moving the trucks around to get different vantage points because they can't get inside the building because it's structurally unsound. They are trying to get in through the roof there and take care of any remaining hot spots. But on the edge of the building, you can see there are cracks on the walls. And they say that it is very likely that those walls will come down at some point. The roof has already collapsed. And I do need to tell you, one firefighter did get hurt fighting this fire. None of them have gone into the building. This firefighter was back around the back of the building and fell into a hole in the yard back there. The chief, though, has told me that that firefighter is doing okay, no serious injuries. We're going to be out here live following the progress as they try to get these flames out and keep everything moving smoothly throughout the morning here. This is live in Asheville. Victoria Dunkel, News 13.
Thanks, Jay. Well, a fire continues to burn 6 hours later at an abandoned plant off Leicester Highway. News 13 is still following this breaking news.
And News 13's Victoria Dunkel is live at the scene. And Vic, this has actually been a long, cold fight for these crews this morning.
It really has. Jay just said it's only 20 degrees out here. Most of the 6 hours that they've been out here fighting this fire at this old abandoned meatpacking plant has been in the sub-freezing temperatures like this. And they are dealing with, as we take a look at some of this video, you can see they had to deal with the flames being fully involved when they arrived. The building was full of flames, and in that case they were unable to get inside as they were fighting it, and it presented challenges. They were having to cycle through because it was so cold. They could only be out in the elements so long, and it really was a combination of troubles and challenges for them because it's an old abandoned plant. It was boarded up, the fire was on the inside, and on top of the cold, the building itself was a challenge.
The hardest part was the walls were about to collapse, so we had to do an exterior firefight, which meant shooting water through the roof and trying to hit the fire, which was very difficult.
Now, they've been shooting the water through the roof, trying to fight this fire all morning long, but as I mentioned, they've had to go and take cycling as far as the crews go. You can see that big white, looks like a motor home back there. That's actually what they call a rehab bus, and what they're doing is they're bringing the firefighters in 15-minute increments so they can get in and get some warmth and kind of rejuvenate themselves because it is a long battle ahead of them. They've got most of the fire knocked down right now, but they're still pouring a lot of water in through the roof, which already collapsed. And I do need to tell you, one firefighter did get hurt fighting this fire. He was behind the building and fell into a hole that was in the yard back there. Now, the fire chief we spoke to said that he is doing okay. It was minor injuries, no serious injuries tied to that. But again, it's a dangerous situation. The other problem was that all of the water was coming out and impacting the road for a long time. It was closed at some point overnight for a couple of hours. And we'll be following this efforts to try to get the final flames out. And then, of course, the chief says they'll be back out here this morning when the daylight comes up to try to figure out exactly how this started in an abandoned building that was boarded up here along New Leicester Highway in Asheville. Reporting live, Victoria Dunkel, News 13.